Imagine a global economic system where some nations served as vast factories, tirelessly churning out goods, while others became immense farms or mines, providing the essential ingredients. What fundamental economic motivations drove such a profound and often brutal historical arrangement? Imperial powers extracted raw materials primarily to fuel their rapidly expanding industrial economies and to establish undeniable global economic dominance. This systematic extraction provided the foundational resources for manufacturing, which was absolutely critical for their sustained economic growth and their strategic projection of power across the world. This practice was deeply rooted in the economic theory of mercantilism, which viewed colonies as direct extensions of the home country. Under mercantilism, colonies existed to supply cheap raw materials like cotton, rubber, timber, minerals, and spices exclusively to the imperial power. These resources were then processed into high-value manufactured goods within the empire, which could be sold back to the colonies or to other markets at significant profit. The relentless pace of industrialization in Europe created an insatiable demand for these materials, driving empires to secure guaranteed and often exclusive access to supplies, ensuring they could outcompete rival nations. For the imperial powers, this meant establishing and controlling vast global supply chains. They heavily invested in infrastructure like railways, ports, and shipping routes within the colonies, but these were built solely to facilitate the efficient extraction and export of raw materials, not to benefit local development. They also implemented labor systems, often coercive or highly exploitative, to ensure a constant and cheap workforce. Local industries that might compete with the imperial powers' manufactured goods were actively suppressed, keeping the colonies dependent. This economic relationship fostered a clear division between the metropole, which was the industrial core and colonizing power, and the periphery, referring to the resource-producing colonies. This system allowed the metropole to accumulate unprecedented capital, advance its technology, and significantly boost its domestic employment. A prime example is how the British textile industry in Manchester flourished, built upon the immense quantities of raw cotton harvested and shipped from India and parts of North America. The systematic extraction of raw materials by imperial powers thus fundamentally reshaped global economic structures, transferring immense wealth and technological advantage to the colonizing nations. This process simultaneously created deep economic dependencies and contributed to the underdevelopment of many colonial regions, leaving a lasting legacy that continues to influence global trade relationships and economic disparities in our modern world.